Hello and welcome again to the competency area of relationships, interactions, and guidance. Meet Alex. Alex is one of the children in Krista's 3-year-old classroom. He's a bright child who tends to be attracted to adults more than to children. He loves to write and enjoys most every activity at preschool. Alex has begun to interact more with his friends. He has become very interested in gardening, and his mom says he wants to help her garden at home all the time. Krista, our teacher, and the children have come to the rug for circle time. It looks as though Krista is leading the children in some yoga stretches to get them settled. Earlier that morning, some of the children had planted a garden in a flower pot. After settling the children, Krista brings the potted garden over to the group for a discussion. Watch what happens.
I want to show all the hard work that happened this morning. Come take a look. Do you want to know something great though? You're feeling.
No, we did shovel.
No, now we're not. I'm going to show you what we're happening. So I need your ideas. I know. I hear you. So what are your ideas? What can we add to this?
Well, that's how we do. You want to give one
Your friend is offering you a suggestion. You ready? I really want to hear your message, but I don't understand that, so take a deep breath.
I try to calmly respond like Krista did, but inside I'm freaking out trying to figure out what to do.
Don't feel bad, Maggie. I often get anxious when the babies in my room cry and I can't console them. I really want them to feel well cared for and understood.
My instinct is to scoop a crying child up in my arms until he feels better and can calm down. I've learned this doesn't always help a child learn how to self-regulate and find his own way to solve a problem. I've had to learn how to scaffold a child's ability to find a good solution for addressing what he or she is feeling.
You have just observed our group of practitioners sharing their reactions to a child bursting into tears in circle time. Could you see yourself in any of the honest feelings they described?
Okay, let's listen to the reflections of Krista, the teacher we just saw in her circle time meeting.
At the circle time, I wanted to reflect on what we did in the morning, kind of, again, highlight all the work they did, and see kind of what their thoughts were about it. So I brought it to the rug, and we looked at it, and I think the kids were really proud about putting the plants in, but then I noticed he got really upset. He was really focused on a different job during job time and didn't have the opportunity to come over and do that. And in particular, he's a very sensitive child and really likes to be involved in those things. And I think he just thought he kind of missed out. So I wanted to make sure that he knew that I was empathetic. And then I said, I understand that you're really upset about it, but it's not finished. This is not a finished product. This is something that's going to keep on going, that's okay. And in particular with that child, we've talked about helping him to self-regulate those emotions. And I don't know if you noticed, but he said, I just need to be upset for a minute. I just need to be upset here. And that's a real progress for us. For him to be able to say, I'm upset, I need this, is kind of what we really want them to get to. So I want to allow that time for him to be upset and then come back and say, all right, so now I notice you're upset about that, but look, today we can add to that project.
Krista helped me think about what was going on for the child. She really knew his temperament and interpreted his behavior from that perspective.
Can you tell me more about that?
Try to think about how the child might be feeling. What do you know about his emotional makeup and his developmental stage? When a child cries like that in circle time, he might be communicating that he's sad, disappointed, embarrassed, or focused on something at home that is making him sad. He might be upset that an idea he had didn't get any recognition. If I don't think about the child's point of view, I might only focus on solving the issue of him crying during circle time. I might spend more time trying to get my circle time to be peaceful rather than focus on what the child is trying to tell me through his behavior.
Yes, and if this child suddenly cries at different times of the day, you ask why. You take into account his point of view, his personality and temperament, but I'd also look at environmental factors too. Is it too crowded in the space? Is the schedule impacting him in a negative way? Does he feel rushed? Does he cry when he's outside or in any other part of the room or time of the day?
I might have those questions too, but with how busy I am, I might think about them for a second and then something else needs my attention. There's just so much to do.
True, we are definitely busy, and it's challenging to come up with thoughtful questions in the heat of the moment. That's why it's important to take time to do some reflecting before the end of each day while your questions are still fresh in your mind.
You're right. I need to carve out that time for reflection every day. Once this is part of my routine, it should be easier to be more reflective in the moment too. One thing I want to do is have a chat with this family about my observations. Their insights will be valuable, and I want to be sure I don't give the impression that he's a behavior problem. What I'm trying to do is understand what he wants to communicate with his behavior. Then I can help him achieve that in ways easier to understand and work with.
When I get overwhelmed or bogged down at work, I go to my mentor to talk things through. I remember when we first began working together and how inspiring she was. Getting away from the situation and turning to people or things that inspire me always helps.
You know, just having us talk about this together has helped me to become more self-aware. I find having a set of questions like the keys for reflection and inquiry allows me to gather more perspectives and take time to think deeply. I'd like this process to become second nature to my everyday work with my children.
Let's remember that what you decide to do might not turn out the way you hope, but you'll definitely learn something from reflecting and taking some action. Continuing to use the questions as the next thing unfolds creates a cycle of reflection that does become a habit of mind.
ComStat encourages you to practice this protocol because reflection is not a technique, but rather a way to develop a curious mind about the teaching and learning process. With steady practice, you can become a reflective practitioner.
And this year, when the day arrived, poor Gerald felt so sad because when it came to dancing, he was really very bad.
Will that part?
Let's see. The warthog started waltzing, and the rhinos rock and rolled. The lions danced a tango that was elegant and bold. The chimps all did a cha-cha-cha with a very Latin field. And 8 baboons then teamed up for a splendid Scottish reel. Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked toward the floor, but the lions saw him coming, and they soon began to roar. Hey, look at clumsy Gerald! The animals all sneered. Giraffes can't dance. You silly fool. Oh, Gerald, you're so... He crept up from the dance floor and he started walking home. He never felt so sad before. So sad and alone. Grace, you need a tissue. Grace, go get a tissue. Grace, go get a tissue. Then he found a little clearing and he looked up at the sky. The moon can be so beautiful, he whispered with a sigh. Excuse me, coughed a cricket, who seen Gerald earlier on. But sometimes when you're different, you just need a different song. Listen to the swaying grass and listen to the trees. Oh, tell it, sit down so your friends can see. Oh, I'll show you the pages. Remember Miss Blanca's reading, then I'll show you, my friend. To me, the sweetest music is those branches in the breeze. So imagine that lovely moon is playing just for you. Everything makes music if you really wanted to. Oh, Cash, no, friends, go back to your spot. We're not changing spots right now. Dylan, go back to your spot. That's Gracie's spot. Go back to your spot, my friend. With that, the cricket smiled and picked up his violin. Then Gerald felt his body do the most amazing thing. His hooves had started shuffling, making circles on the ground. His neck was gently swaying and his tail was swishing around.
No, I was sitting here.
Dylan, go back to your spot. Thank you. He threw his legs out sideways and he swung them everywhere. Then he did a backward somersault and leaped up in the air.
That's it. That's the fun.
Gerald felt so wonderful, his mouth was open wide. I'm dancing, yes, I'm dancing, Gerald cried.
You know, Gerald.
Friends, remember, we're gonna wait until the end to share, okay?
Okay, let's go dance.
Then one by one, each animal who'd been there at the dance arrived while Gerald was boogie on and watched him. Wide entrance. They shouted, "It's a miracle, we must be in a dream. Gerald's the best dancer that we ever seen."
I know you're gonna say that.
How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Gerald, tell us how. But Gerald simply twirled around and finished with a bow. With a bow. Then he raised his head and looked up at the moon and stars above. We all can dance, he said, when we find music that we love. The end. Did you like it, Grace? Yes. Friends, if you want to share your favorite part of the story, raise your quiet hand, okay? Dylan, what did you like, my friend?
I like Carol when he was sad.
You like it when he was sad? Do you remember why was he sad?
Because the animals were dancing.
Because the animals were dancing?
Yeah.
Thanks, Dylan. Katarina?
I like when the lion did a cocoa dance.
When the lion what?
Did a tango. Tango.
Oh, when he did a tango dance. The lions did?
They dance and
Okay, friends, raise your hand if you want to share, Debbie. Raise your hand, Debbie. Levanta tu mano, okay? Jaden, what did you like, my friend?
I like when the chimps did a cha-cha.
When they did the cha-cha, okay. Cash, what did you like, my friend?
I like when animals come.
You like it when he was sad? Do you remember why was he sad? No, Cash? You just like... Oh, Katarina, if you want to say something else, remember we have to raise our hand, my friend. Maya, what did you like, my friend?
I like when the giraffe was dancing and running.
When the giraffe was dancing and running?